The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johns.
Hello and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Mary Johns.
And I'm Jim Allen. On today's show, we'll continue our series with the finalists for the Alabama's Outstanding Young Farm Family. Our travels today take us to a Butler County poultry operation.
We're very blessed that we're able to do this because it's one that's really a God-given blessing.
Alaga syrup has earned its rightful place in kitchens across the South. But how did it come about? We'll learn about how this Alabama company honors its history while embracing its future.
I think it's a feeling of family. I think it's good management and amazing employees.
Sydney Phelps of Bonnie Plants is in the kitchen this week, whipping up a tangy treat that you can enjoy as a spicy snack or add to your burgers for a little extra bite.
But when we return, we'll meet a woodworker whose own disability has resulted in some pretty rockin' creations.
What sustains us? Food? Family? Faith. Alabama farmers live those things every day. They can serve our resources, clothe our families, and fill our tables. They cultivate jobs for our communities and values for our future. Farmers grow it all, right here in Alabama.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
A hobby can be a helpful thing to have. Personally, I don't feel like myself if I can't get out in my garden. Well, when injury forced Larry Maxey to leave his career, his woodworking hobby not only helped support him, it's resulted in a pretty creative and exciting new enterprise. There's probably been more guitar necks and bodies rolling out of Larry Maxey's backyard wood shop than you'll find in any music store. But before you start shouting Freebird, maybe you've noticed the lack of strings. That's because these guitars aren't made for picking, they're made for walking. Years of back surgeries caused Larry to rely on a walker and canes for support. And it was a cane that inspired an exciting new direction for a lifelong hobby.
I had just recently went on a mission trip to Uganda through my church. And I was gone for about a week, and I brought this cane here back with me. I was sitting in the car waiting on my wife. I was listening to the radio and enjoying the music, and I noticed I was holding it like a guitar, pretending I was playing with the music, and I just got to thinking, why not?
His first cane was simple, but drew enough attention that Larry's hobby blossomed into a business.
From the time I got started until now, I've made 232 canes, and every one almost different in their own way. Because a lot of my customers, if they don't see what I have on hand, they want a special one made up. I've sold them throughout the U.S., all over the U.S. I've had sales in Canada, I had sales in Norway, and as far as London, England.
Just about any shape or style of six-string you can imagine has been transformed into one of Larry's walking canes. Many of these orders are simple, but some can get pretty interesting.
A guy contacted me from London, England. He works for the BBC. He was a radio announcer. He said, "This is unusual. I'm not sure if you can do it or not, but you ever seen the double-decker buses in London?" He said, "I want the body made like a double-decker bus, but I want it made into a guitar cane."
He went to the podiatrist and he saw Larry's guitar cane that he was using at the time, and he said, "That's cool." He said, "Have you ever made a grand piano cane?" He came home and started drawing out these grand piano canes, and within a week he was started on that cane, and he made it and took it to the podiatrist, and he absolutely loved it.
The challenge of bringing so many unique requests to life has been a kind of therapy for Larry as he works to overcome his own disability. But he has found his canes have also been helpful to others struggling with similar setbacks.
The best part is the stories I hear from people, how much it inspires them just to get out with their cane. There was one gentleman, they had told me that he would not even leave his house. And now he looks forward to getting out. People that he would not even be talking to, they come up to him and ask him, where do you get a cane like that?
He was devastated when he found out he was going to have to go out on disability and no longer be able to work. So this has been a blessing to both of us. For me to see the light come back in his face, that he's got something he can get up and work on each day, and then the items that he makes are special, custom made, and he puts his heart and soul into it.
I like a challenge. Like I tell my customers, let me make something, and if you're not satisfied with it, it's fine too. But I'm going to put my heart and soul into it, where I want to make something that you're going to like.
More on Larry's custom walking canes can be found at MaxiWoodcrafts.com.
And for a limited time, he's offering several he has in stock at a discounted price.
So y'all need to go online and check it out.
When Simply Southern continues, we'll find out why there's more than one recipe behind Alaga syrup. Family plus equal parts tradition and adaptability have kept this company going strong for more than 100 years.
The versatile peanut, meat of the earth, friend of the soil, tasty, nutritious, packed with protein. And Alabama peanut farmers nourish some very special things: families, communities, and Alabama's economy. Peanuts. Good for you, good for Alabama.
Who drives your car? An athlete? A rocker? A dreamer? A survivor? A best friend? Alpha Insurance. As individual as you are.
Ugly brush piles cluttering your property? Introducing the all-new DR Chippers, now starting at an unbelievably low price. Chew up big branches that come down in storms and all the trimmings from your yard and garden. The new DR Chipper, now starting at just $699.99.
For a free buyer's guide and DVD, call 1-800-422-0482. Special pricing and free shipping are now in effect. Online at drchipper.com.
A farmer has to live on faith. We do all we can do, but we can only control so much.
Alabama is the second largest poultry growing state in the nation, so we're trying our best to grow all the corn we can for that.
What we produce not only feeds and clothes all of the United States, but about half of what we make goes on to the world market.
We've been able to improve yields, have some things that can help us produce a better crop. I'm proud of the product we make and proud that I can say I'm an Alabama farmer.
If you were raised in the South, chances are Alaga syrup was a staple in your pantry. In fact, generations of Southerners almost take it for granted. But behind that bottle is a company that's managed to combine over a century of tradition with modern innovation. Melissa Bowman shows us why their success is so sweet.
It's hard to imagine something from 1906 still being relevant today. But here in Alabama, 1906 marked the beginning of something many Southerners can't imagine living without: Alaga syrup.
It's a woman from Alabama, a man from Georgia who fell in love, combined the two, and made it Alaga syrup, Alabama and Georgia.
Alaga Syrup Company was founded by turn-of-the-century power couple Lewis Broughton Whitfield Sr. and his wife Willie Vandiver. 112 years later, their fourth-generation descendants continue to operate Whitfield Foods, the company behind Alaga products, in the same location.
I feel amazingly blessed It has been a privilege to be a part of this for so many years.
It's been handed down from generation to generation to generation, and now this generation. And I hope we can hand this down to the next generation.
One reason Whitfield Foods has survived so long could be its family atmosphere. And you don't have to be a Whitfield to be considered family.
Anybody can go to work and just do a job, regular job, but you come here, you're part of the family.
The family takes pride in being able to provide jobs, and turnover is rare. Many employees have been with the company 20, 30, even 40 years or more.
I think the management we have here, they treat people right. And that's why people, when they come here, they want to stay.
Employees aren't the only ones who've had positive things to say. Company history includes an impressive list of celebrity spokespeople. And like any savvy Alabama business, football legends.
We, of course, have had Bear Bryant, but you know what? Auburn people use syrup too, so we have had Shug Jordan as well.
Even with endorsements, Alaga syrup wouldn't have lasted as long if it wasn't a good product. It's considered comfort food in a part of the country that invented comfort food.
Ask anyone raised on Alaga syrup and they'll tell you biscuits and Alaga were made for each other. That combo is so well loved. It's one of the most popular concessions here at Riverwalk Stadium, home of the Montgomery Biscuits baseball team. It's even been nationally recognized as some of the country's best ballpark food. Of course, that's no surprise to team mascot Big Mo. He's a professional biscuit eater and he always takes his biscuits with Alaga.
I love the fact that basically Alaga syrup is home. Alaga syrup is family.
That feeling is so strong, transplanted Southerners craving a taste of home have demanded it in grocery stores well beyond the South. But these days, you won't just find Alaga syrup in grocery stores. This century-old company has no problem keeping up with the times.
A lot of young people don't go to grocery stores, and so we're trying to move to a more online presence. Things like Amazon are hopefully going to be really helpful in that avenue.
Online sales are just one example of this company's ability to adapt. It's also a leading contract manufacturer. When its former pickle business closed in the late 70s, the company began using the same process in syrup production to manufacture beverages for other companies. Today, over 750,000 bottles move through the plant daily and travel to locations across the country.
We've done business with most of the big beverage names that you've heard of. We produce teas, we produce juices, we produce isotonic beverages or sports drinks, if you will.
Whitfield Foods has won national industry awards and become so successful that contract manufacturing is now the majority of its business. But Alaga syrup will always be the heart of the company.
We love our syrup, regardless of what percentage it is of our business. It's still very important to us.
It remains important because of family. Virginia Whitfield remembers fondly when she and her son, who has since passed away, were planning the company's 100th anniversary in 2006.
My son said, "You know what, Mom, you have actually summed all of it up when it comes to Alaga." And what I had said was, I have no doubt that God had a hand in this, because we have managed to capture the sweetness of the South and the feeling of family in a bottle, and that is nothing short of a miracle.
For Simply Southern, I'm Melissa Bowman.
The company celebrated 100 years in business back in 2006. If you'd like to know more about Alaga, you can visit alagasyrup.com.
Now, they stayed true to their traditional products, but they also aren't afraid to experiment a little, like this hot sauce that has their syrup in it.
Ooh, so that's heat, but with a little sweet.
That's right.
Up next on Simply Southern, you'll meet another one of Alabama's top young farmers.
One out of 4 Alabama residents have benefited from the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Last year, Master Gardener Managed Gardens donated $150,000 worth of fruits and vegetables to food banks, and over 25,000 young people developed math, science, technology, and engineering skills through 4-H. Now what we want to know is, how can we help you?
Soybean is a very versatile product. We make crayons out of it.
A lot of the combines you see rolling through the fields have a lot of plastic side panels that are made from a soy product. The
Soybeans that we grow on our farm mostly goes into chicken feed.
Soybean production in Alabama employs over 10,000 people.
We grow some of the best soybeans in the world.
We go the extra mile to make sure when our name is stamped on it, we know it's the best product we can produce.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
Being a catfish farmer to me means carrying on a legacy that my father started about 35 years ago. It's a good way to take care of the land and provide a nutritious product for people all over the world. My name is Mary Quitman Holmes. My sister, my father, and I own this farm, Lawson Catfish Farm, in Perry County, Alabama.
Last week, we started a series of profiles on the finalists for the Outstanding Young Farm Family Award, which is presented each year by the Alabama Farmers Federation. This week, Kevin Worthington introduces us to another finalist family, the Grants from Butler County.
Like a lot of young people, Chad Grant grew up working on his family's poultry operation. But once he graduated, Chad says he never wanted to see another chicken. After 10 years of working on cars, however, he started to reconsider.
Once I got out in the real world and was inside a shop all day long, not going outside except to drive a car out and pull another car in, it made me realize how good a farm is, you know, how nice it would be to wake up, be your own boss every day and go to work for yourself instead of someone else.
So in 2014, Chad bought 4 66 by 600 foot mega houses from his dad, and later 2 adjacent houses his brother had built. Today, Southern Comfort Farms produces about 10.5 million pounds of meat each year.
We grow the Big Bird, which is around anywhere from a 8-pound to 8.5-pound chicken on average, depending on how many days they let them go. We keep them about 8 weeks, 56 to 57 days normally, and we grow 5 flocks a year.
Chad says a lot of people think a large farm focuses more on quantity than quality. But to be successful in the poultry business, you have to produce the best bird possible. And technology helps achieve that, in addition to relieving some of the stress on the farmer.
You can manage everything on that computer from my iPad or my phone. As long as I've got Wi-Fi or 4G service, I can pull my farm up, I can look at it. We've put in cameras at the farm. I can take and go from my phone or iPad, my house, take and get a visual look at everything.
Managing litter is not only an environmental concern, Chad says it's another way to boost his bottom line. He's invested in equipment to handle the chore himself rather than hiring someone else to do it, and it's paid off.
You find one farmer that'll take all of it, and y'all work out a good price and handle it all yourself, you can pretty much double your money, if not more than that, compared to hiring a litter broker to come in and clean your houses out. So we handle all of our litter sales, we load it, clean the houses out all on our own.
Even though Chad wasn't exactly crazy about his time on the farm as a teenager, he's glad that his children will have the opportunity to continue a 7-generation family tradition in agriculture.
Maybe they're making memories they can look back on and have the same memories that I have growing up, playing on the hay bales, stuff like that.
They're going to have that work ethic that some folks don't see, especially, you know, the farmers have to be out here in this heat. They're getting to see that and see that it is a lot of work, but there's also a lot of reward when you're willing to put in that work.
Heather and Chad met when he was making the transition from mechanic back to farmer. Not coming from a farming background herself, Heather says she wasn't real sure that was such a good idea at the time.
I had anticipated a chicken coop, the old silver chicken coops in the backyard, and then to come out and see how big of an operation a chicken farm actually is and what is involved in it and how it is a business, and it's a very good business for us. It was a shock. Just the sheer size of it is really surprising.
In spite of their earlier doubts, Chad and Heather say they feel fortunate to be right where God intended for them to be.
we're very blessed that we're able to do this and make a living at it and have this lifestyle, because it's one that's really a God-given blessing.
From Butler County, outstanding young farm family finalists Chad and Heather Grant and their children Abigail, Levi, and Will.
Make sure you're with us next week. That's when you'll get to meet the winners of the Outstanding Young Farm Family Contest for 2018.
You know, Mary, either of the two families we've seen thus far would be deserving the award.
Yes, but there can only be one winner, and we'll share their story next week.
Up next on Simply Southern, Sydney Phelps of Bonnie Plants is in the kitchen making tomato bacon jam. Even if you've never heard of it, you're gonna love it.
There's nothing quite like sitting down to a home-cooked meal with fresh vegetables from the garden. With Bonnie Plants from your local quality co-op store, you can enjoy the freshest vegetables right from your own backyard. And no matter if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, your quality co-op store has exactly what you need to get the most out of your plants. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
What we eat, what we wear. It all starts somewhere. And if it's good, it usually starts with a farmer. And that somewhere is right here in Alabama. In a field, in a barn, on a tractor. Right now, there's a farmer starting something good for all of us. And it all starts right here in Alabama.
For more Simply Southern, be sure to follow us on social media. And while you're online, visit our website, simplysouthern.tv.net. Simply Southern will continue in a moment.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie Plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Hey folks, Sydney Phelps here with Bonnie Plants. Today we're in the kitchen and we're working on a recipe of tomato bacon jam. So I've got some fresh Romas right out of the garden. The easy step with this is we want to take just a Roma tomato, we want to split it right down the center into halves, and you want to drizzle that with some olive oil. I've already got some in the oven. Basically you want to roast them for about an hour to 2 hours at 240 degrees. You can also do it on a grill, but you're not going to use the whole time, but you want it to get a good caramelized flavor where the tomato is starting to break down. But I've already rendered some bacon down, so I've got some bacon grease and I've got one whole large onion. So we're gonna throw this into the pan right now. So pan's already hot, good to go. We're gonna get these onions in here. We want them to start breaking down, caramelizing. And to go with that, I've got a little bit of the bacon grease that we want to just add to that to get some of that flavor. So bacon grease is always good. And we're just gonna stir this in. The onions are gonna take about 5 to 7 minutes to break down. We wanna get a good caramelized flavor to that, so we're gonna let them work down. Pan's at about a medium heat. While these are cooking, I basically wanna just take some poblano, ancho peppers. We're gonna chop those up. So basically you wanna take the cap off, leave the seeds in. It'll get a little bit of a heat. And we're just gonna strip this down, dice them up. We'll come back and visit these as they are starting to break down, so we'll caramelize those onions up. All right, so we've got good caramelization on our onions. I'm gonna go ahead and throw our peppers in here with this. And these are just, like I said, poblano, ancho, good smoky chilies. You can find these pretty much all over the place. It's just adding another layer of flavor in there, but you can do smoked ancho, smoked chilies. Now I've got the tomatoes. They're already in the oven. We're gonna pull these out. They've been roasting for about 2 hours. And you can see there, they're starting to break down. The juices are starting to come out, so it's gonna be perfect just to throw them in there. But before we do that, we wanna add some garlic. So we've got a 1/4 cup of garlic. Let's throw that in there. I have got a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. So kind of deglaze the pan with that. While that's bringing up, we're just going to work this in. Get those babies going. I'm going to turn the heat down to about a medium heat and let that go. Now, since we're dealing with a jam, this is going to build up. It's kind of like making, layer after layer of flavor. So we're going to start thickening this up. And by doing so, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start adding in these tomatoes. Now, I'm just going to do these whole. Just going to pick them up, toss them right in the pan, and get them in here. And then once I do that, I'm going to add our other ingredients. So what we've got coming up is we've got some maple syrup and brown sugar. That's going to get it that thick, coarse texture, going to get that smokiness and make it like the jam consistency. And then from there, we're just going to add in some coffee. And from there, we're just going to take this, work these tomatoes in. Like I said before, we've got the maple syrup. We're going to drizzle that in. 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And I've got some red pepper to just give a little bit of a kick. And then this is 3/4 of a cup of fresh brewed coffee. So that's going to go together. We're going to work this together. This is going to take about an hour to 2 hours. Let it cook in, let it get syrupy. Take the bacon, just chop it up. We're going to mix it in there. After about an hour and a half, you'll throw the bacon in there, let everything cook. From there, just take it, run it through a food processor. You can have it chunky, you can have it really smooth and creamy. All depends on your preference. But from there, put it into a mason jar. It'll last up to 4 weeks in the refrigerator. If you want to find more about this recipe, check out bonnieplants.com or the app Homegrown with Bonnie Plants.
In addition to recipes, bonnieplants.com has all the information you need to make your garden grow. If you have a question for Sydney, email him at simplysouthern@allafarm.com. Now, if he answers it on the air, we'll send you a nice gift for your garden.
Thanks for watching Simply Southern today, but it's time for us to go. I hope you'll be back with us next week when we'll meet Alabama's top young farm family.
And we'll answer the question everybody is asking. Where do you go for the best fried chicken in Alabama? Thanks for watching today. I'm Mary John.
And I'm Jim Allen. We'll see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.